So ever since I can remember, I've wanted to be a Weasley. Especially now that it's around the holidays, there's a big old hole in my heart where a Weasley family sweater should be. So I thought, why not just make one? Do I know how to knit? No, I don't. I don't really know how to sew, but I watched a couple videos on embroidery, so that kind of makes me an expert. Now I could spend $100 on the merch version of it, but there is no way they're getting my money for that. So I got this sweater on eBay, and I'm gonna work my Molly Weasley magic on it, or at least try to. So without further ado, let's go pick up some embroidery supplies. And the good news, if it looks god-awful, that's okay. It's the Weasley way. So it's a little bit messy. So if anyone asks, it's on purpose that it looks bad. In other news, I found this bird at Target that looks just like me.
People, let me tell you about my best friend.
Okay, so...
How says embroidery? No, it looks like you're stealing.
This will be cute. Okay, we'll go ahead and do this. I don't know where the hoops are. Is this a good size?
Yeah, I don't think any bigger than that.
Look at that full of hoops.
They're hooplas.
Hooplas! Hooplas!
That's what it says.
Really?
Yeah.
Okay.
What if we do your embroidery?
I'll make one for you, and then on Christmas morning, I'll go, Happy Christmas, Nick! And here we go. Get out. So first of all, you're going to want to draw from your reference picture. Get a real good shot of your rollers. So then you're going to take that embroidery hoop, and I put mine on the bottom and then made sure that the top was as tight as I could without stretching the R too much. And then you're going to take this embroidery thread, which has 6 threads within it. 6 freaking threads. So you're going to thread that son of a bitch through your needle. Now, I didn't have too much rhyme or reason on how I did this, but I will say that I think I chose the wrong thread. Because this is a sparkly thread, it is very hard to work with and very thick and tangles very easily. So if you're easily stressed out, you might want to look away now.
No! God, please, no! 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 No!
So about 1/3 of the way through, I switched to a normal one, which was way easier. So as far as the direction of how I'm pulling this thread through, I kind of just winged it, but I wanted to make sure that they generally were going in the same direction and that they looked nice. Naturally, I think the beginning was a little bit harder for me than when I started getting used to it. And every time I wanted to start a new piece of thread, I would just make sure that I tied off the needle and thread with a few different knots to make sure that they didn't come undone. For the stem of the R, I guess you could call it, I closely followed the marker line that I had drawn, but I will say that I wish that I drew my reference line a little bit thicker because I definitely, the first time around, did it way too thin. So I ended up going over it quite a few times to make it, first of all, straight and thicker. So this stem of the arm ended up being very, very thick between all the sparkly thread layers, and then I went over it again with the more matte layer too. Yeah. But I think that it ended up looking pretty good. This part reminds me of that scene from Ace Ventura with the rhino. And if you haven't seen it, then I'm sorry. So if you can't tell, this is the new, more matte thread, which was way easier to work with. The curve of the R was definitely one of my favorite parts to do. And I wanted to make sure the curve of the R was as thick as I wanted it, so I made sure to thread it diagonally. You see what I did there? Now, personally for me, I don't know if this is how it's done. When creating a wide, thick curve like this, I found it easier for me to go forward and then fill in the empty space that I left behind. So I found that way easier for me in terms of visualizing what the curve was going to look like and then backtracking. So I repeated this for the bottom of the curve also. And it really helped. It almost laid out a skeleton for me to then go and fill out, if that makes sense. Here, enjoy some satisfying embroidering. I will say that the nature of the sweater that I chose was making it a little bit difficult to create tightness with the threads because it was made of such a loose wool. Sometimes when I pulled it would almost disappear, and sometimes it would give it way more width than I wanted, and it was just not very reliable, so just a note. But anyways, here's some time-lapse goodness. For the tail of the R, I did my backtracking method. It started with the farthest out point and then worked my way back from there. Also, after I did this, I went back and covered the sparkly bits with this more matte thread. It's done! Photo. It's done. Looking snazzy. You ready for the reveal? I think you're ready for this sweater. I think you're ready for this. So it did look a little bit better than this, but then I had a little mishap.
Flashback.
So I was literally brushing my hair and caught some of the threads. Can I do like damage control here? It looked so good! And then I ruined it. I know, it's so sad.
End of flashback.
So that probably says something about my lack of embroidery knowledge. The fact that you can just pull the strings and they kind of just come loose. But hey man, for a first time embroiderer, no, I'm not gonna. So my first time embroidering, I don't think it's too bad. And that's what I aim for in life, so not too bad. So as you can see, I mean, it looks like an R, and that's really all we can hope for, right? You can just ignore this spot right here. I mean, it's obviously not perfect, and it's not identical to his at all. I like the fact that I can say that I embroidered it myself, so. And now that I've done this, I'm kind of addicted to embroidering, so what can I embroider next? I definitely want to pay my respects to embroiderers because it is definitely a skill that I don't quite know if I've grasped yet. But it was fun, and I just wanted to show you guys that even if you're not a master embroiderer, this is definitely something that anyone can do. I myself always love watching people make things, so hopefully you guys liked watching the process, even if it was a little bit frustrating, and you embroiderers were probably yelling at the screen for me to stop doing what I'm doing. But here we are. That is it. I hope that you guys have a lovely holiday season, whatever you celebrate. I love you, whether you're new or old to this channel, and I will see you in the next video. Bye!
Oh, that's cool.
Oh!
It's cool.
Oh my god.
What?
I didn't know which part was the glove, so I was like looking at the fingers like,
Oh, I thought the fingers was the glove.
no!
I thought it was like so like you can't poke yourself.
You said they were fake fingers?
Yeah, so you can't poke yourself.
That's terrifying. I myself always love watching people make things. So I hope that you liked watching me make this. Very aggressive. R!